Over time, inflation lowers the value of your cash holdings. The value of your currency is based on what your currency can purchase. In other words, its purchasing power. And the purchasing power of modern currencies is declining. This is the case for the US dollar, it is the case for the euro, and it is the case for modern currencies in general. So what causes inflation? Inflation is caused by an increase in the money supply. When there is a larger amount of money chasing the same amount of goods, then the unit value of that money will decline. For example, let's say hypothetically we have an economy that only produces tables, and in that economy it uses a currency called the dollar, and there are in total $100 in circulation, and there are 100 tables in the economy that is being sold. And since there are 100 tables and $100, let's say people are selling tables for $1 per table. And let's say the government of that economy decides to increase the money supply and print more money. And it increases the money supply to $1,000. Since we still have only 100 tables in that economy, but now we have $1,000 chasing 100 tables instead of $100 chasing 100 tables, then the price of each table will go up to $10 per table. And that will devalue your currency, because when you have, let's say, $10 in savings, which can purchase you 10 tables, now that $10 can only purchase one table. So your purchasing power goes down and the value of your cash holdings declines. So why is inflation happening so much in the modern world? The answer is because every official currency in the modern world is a fiat currency, which is a currency that is not backed by any underlying asset. It is backed only by government decree, or fiat, and has no inherent value except because the government mandates it be used as a medium of exchange. Fiat currencies are completely managed by the government. You must rely on the competency and goodwill of the government to manage the currency for you. And the money supply of fiat currencies are completely manipulated by the government. Governments are often incentivized to increase the money supply to fund government expenses, and this increase in money supply leads to inflation, which devalues your cash holdings. This is very different from the past, when currency was backed by underlying assets like gold. In the past, there was a gold standard, where you could exchange a fixed amount of your currency for actual gold, and this gave the currency stability and trustworthiness because you could always exchange it for gold, which could be used to purchase goods and services. And before the gold standard, gold was used as the actual currency, which leads me to the first alternative to fiat currency, which is gold. Gold is not officially currency anymore, but a lot of governments still treat it like money. They hold gold reserves and they deal with each other in gold. And one of the reasons why is because gold has inherent value. It is used in jewelry, it is used in technology, it is used in industry, and whether or not gold is used as money, as a medium of exchange, gold still has inherent value because people are still willing to acquire it and use it for the purposes I just mentioned. And one of the reasons why gold has been such a reliable form of money in the past is because the gold supply is hard to manipulate. It is pretty difficult and expensive to mine gold and manipulate the gold supply. So it is a good way to store your money because the gold supply doesn't fluctuate as abruptly as fiat currency. And I will also include in this category other precious metals like silver and platinum as an alternative to fiat currency, but I think gold is the primary one for precious metals. Another alternative for fiat currency is cryptocurrency. Now, unlike gold, cryptocurrencies do not have inherent value. But unlike fiat currencies, cryptocurrencies do not rely on government mandate. They are decided upon by the people, by the market. If there is no market for a cryptocurrency, then the cryptocurrency will simply cease to matter. And I think the primary cryptocurrency you can use to store wealth is Bitcoin, because compared to other cryptocurrencies, it has the most reliable history. I remember all the way back to high school when I first heard about Bitcoin being used on this website called Silk Road to buy and sell illicit and often illegal goods and services. Now, Silk Road has since been shut down, but already when I was in high school, I heard of Bitcoin, and it was being used to trade and exchange goods and services. And now Bitcoin is being used to buy and sell an increasingly wider variety of goods and services. It's used to buy and sell more legal goods and services now, and you can use it to purchase more and more things. It's increasingly becoming an actual currency. So it can be used to store your wealth. And even nowadays, you have Bitcoin ATMs where you can just go to one of these Bitcoin ATM locations and exchange Bitcoin for fiat currency or vice versa. So Bitcoin is another alternative to fiat currency where you can store your wealth. And the thing about Bitcoin is that Bitcoin supply is limited by design. There is a cap to how much Bitcoin there can be. So unlike fiat currencies, you don't have to worry about inflation and a huge fluctuation in the Bitcoin supply, because especially today, the Bitcoin supply has been more and more stable as it has become increasingly more difficult to mine Bitcoin. So because of this cap on its supply, Bitcoin is a lot safer from fluctuations in Bitcoin supply. So although you might see a lot of fluctuations in Bitcoin price, the supply is more stable and it is limited by design. And also other cryptocurrencies may be used to store your wealth as well, but the most reliable one today, I would say, is Bitcoin. A third alternative to fiat currency is the stock market. Stocks are shares of ownership of public companies. When you own a stock, you own a share of a public company, and that can be inherently valuable because that company can produce profits, and those profits can go back to you in the form of dividends, or it can be reinvested in the company to boost its value and thus boost the value of your stocks. Now, there are a lot of stocks, so when it comes to investing in stocks, you have to do your research. There are companies that are doing well, there are companies that will do well in the future, and there are companies that will do poorly in the future and maybe go bankrupt and you might lose your investment. So doing the right research is very important when it comes to investing in stocks. If you do the right research and pick a great company with great growth prospects, not only will the money invested be preserved for you, but it can actually grow in value. Whereas if you make an average decision, then you may just preserve the value of the money you invested, or if you make a poor decision, then the money you invested may decline in value. A fourth alternative to fiat currency is real estate. Real estate has inherent value. You can live in it, you can use it as your office space, you can use it for storage purposes, you can rent it out and make money from it, you can monetize it in other ways. For example, if you own land and if you can produce agricultural goods from that land, you can sell that and make money. Or if you can extract natural resources from that land, you can also sell it and make money. So there are different ways and different purposes and uses for real estate. You can use it for your own purposes, you can monetize it and make money from it. So real estate has value. And when you are investing in real estate and other people are willing to pay an even higher price for your real estate, then the value of your real estate goes up because you can exchange it for even more money than you bought it with. Now, when you are investing in real estate, like stock market investing, you have to make the right investment decision. You have to do your research, and that will allow you to store your wealth in real estate and even grow your wealth and generate more wealth. And if you make a poor decision and buy poor real estate, maybe you can use it in good purposes, but the value might go down and your wealth might devalue from a bad investment decision. Now, a downside of real estate investing is that there are property taxes. This isn't the case for all countries. I made a video of countries that don't have property taxes, so you can watch it. But it is the case for a lot of countries. And when there are property taxes, then you will have to pay just to own real estate. And that can be a downside for you. So you have to make sure that either that real estate can make enough money to offset those property taxes, or the value of your real estate goes up enough to offset those property taxes, or you're using it for very valuable purposes like living space or office space or whatever, then you have to take that into account when investing in real estate to make sure that you are not losing wealth from property taxes. And the fifth alternative to fiat currency, and the last one I will talk about today, is private equity. Private equity is pretty similar to stocks. They both represent shares of ownership of companies, but the difference is stocks represent shares of ownership of public companies, while private equity represents shares of ownership of private companies, which can be valuable because those private companies can produce profits, and you can collect those profits if you own the company, or at least own part of the company, or those profits can be reinvested in the company to boost its value and thus boost the value of your ownership stake. So like stocks, you really need to do your research when investing in private equity, because there are a lot of different private businesses you can invest in or even start up and invest your own money in. And depending on your investment decision, you can either maintain and grow the wealth you invested, or you can lose the wealth you invested if you make a poor investment decision. In conclusion, I think gold is a good way to store value. Cryptocurrencies can be quite volatile. I think Bitcoin is more reliable, but it has its ups and downs. Whereas stocks, real estate, and private equity, you have to do your research to make the right investment decision. If you make the good decisions, you can maintain and grow your wealth, whereas if you make bad decisions, you can even lose the money you invested. I think with stocks, real estate, and private equity, research and making the right decisions is very important. So I think that with these 5 alternatives to fiat currency, instead of allowing your wealth to devalue through inflation by letting it sit as cash holdings, you can convert that wealth into one of these 5 alternatives to fiat currency, so you can actually maintain your wealth and even grow your wealth. So don't let your wealth devalue through inflation. Protect your wealth and grow your wealth by converting it into one of these 5 alternatives to fiat currency. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like the video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.